Boy oh boy, do I have a build for you today. Hello guys, how are we doing? So, with this latest patch, dropping those beautiful Eclipse changes, I've been having an absolute blast testing it out, and I've actually fallen in love with it. It's crazy how good Eclipse feels now, just with that small little change of giving it some cooldown reduction. The difference is just incredible, and it's opened up a bunch of different things you can do with Kha'Zix. And today, I will be showing you one of my favorite builds to use with the Eclipse, and just in general, it's just by far my favorite build to run in this current meta. This build does everything. It kills squishies, it kills bruises, it's got tank damage, it's got utility, it's got survivability, it's got everything, man, and I can't wait to show you why I love this build so much. I'll explain more in game, but if you could do me a favor and subscribe if you're new here. I'm trying to get to 100k subscribers, and I'd really appreciate your support if you enjoy my videos. I have a ton of more juicy Kha'Zix games ready to show you, and you don't want to miss these ones because the videos coming up, they're absolutely awesome. But yeah, like the video if you enjoy my content as well. It really helps me out with the channel and I appreciate it. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into the game. Alright, here we go. So I'm very excited to show you this game. Honestly, it's nothing that crazy, it's just a juicy game of Kha'Zix, but I really just want to talk about the build here because this is a build that I've been testing out and running lately, and it's just been really fantastic, and it just feels so insanely good to play, and I think it is probably one of his best builds currently, at least in my opinion. So yeah, it's going to be with the new Eclipse, so I've been absolutely loving the new Eclipse. It's just fantastic. We're going to run First Strike with it, with the boots, the Futures Market, Cosmic Insight, and for our secondary runes we run Eyeball Collection. You see my Krogs being a bit annoying there. Yeah, so secondary runes are Eyeball Collection and Ingenious Hunter. So with the Ingenious Hunter and the Eclipse, you're actually going to be getting a 4-second Eclipse cooldown. So you get a 4-second shield, 4-second damage procs with the Eclipse if you max out that Ingenious Hunter rune. So that's gonna be very juicy, and it does it pays off a lot, and it's very fucking good to use. Feels very good. But also on top of that, we're gonna be running the red smite, or the red pet anyway. This will give you bonus % max health damage. So basically you're getting a bunch of % health damage with your Eclipse and the red smite, and you're also getting true damage with the First Strike. So overall, this build feels incredibly good to play at all stages of the game. You can see the Rengar here has actually done a 3 camp into a failed gank, so that's unfortunate. It happens. And yeah, I'm just going to be going for a full clear. But yeah, if you, like I said, it's extremely flexible and well-rounded build because of the armor pen and % max damage, and the true damage is just everywhere, and it feels amazing to use. You're always going to be dealing damage, and that's one fantastic thing about it. So I'm going to look for a gank here. I'm not going to do my Grump. These guys are overextending. The Nort is going to land a good hook. It's going to hook the GP into isolation. They're trying to flash out. I'm going to have to flash for that kill, unfortunately, because I lose isolation and my Q doesn't kill him. But overall, that's a very solid play, and we pick up our first kill of the game. Yes, sir. Very nice. So I think this build can work with Dark Harvest too. By all means, like, it's totally fine. It's either First Strike or Dark Harvest with this setup. You could even run Conqueror if you want, but you know, I'm not really a fan of Conqueror, honestly, nowadays. But yeah, I prefer the First Strike because it's going to give you that true damage, right? And the true damage is pretty significant. You get gold as well, of course, but the true damage is what makes the build feel really nice, because even against tankier champs, all this like kind of penetrative damage is really useful. And unfortunately, I used my leap on the crab, so I can't follow up on this kill, which is really unfortunate. I guess that just goes to show that you should not leap onto crab, otherwise something like that happens. That's my bad. I thought nothing was going to happen, and I miss out on a kill there just because, and I also get GP killed. Well, I mean, I don't think that was my fault, but whatever. It's just a little unfortunate, so yeah, you don't really want to be using your leap onto crab, if possible. But, you know, I just got really greedy there. So we do see the Rengar running into my Raptors here. I know the Raptors are going to be gone by the time I get there, so I'm just going to settle for my Krogs instead. And yeah, all that's left now is to build up to the Eclipse and, you know, try and get level 6 as well. Regarding evolutions, any evolutions work completely fine with this build. The build actually utilizes all the evolutions very, very well. You can go Q evolve first, you can go R evolve first, even W evolve first is pretty good. But I personally prefer to use the R evolve, just because Eclipse and R evolve, it's like they just go hand in hand. They're like fantastic. The fact that you can do this now, like it was a bit hard to do R evolve Eclipse before because no ability haste on the Eclipse, right? But now that we have the Eclipse ability haste, it's, oh man, it just feels so good with R evolve, and yeah, just very, very nice. So I want to maybe try go for something here, but I can't. My only option here was to clear Krogs. I don't want to go for that because I know there was a Rengar topside and he might still be around, so I don't want to go and flip that gank. And instead I want to just try and get my levels up, trying to get to 6 ASAP. And then when I get 6, it becomes a lot easier to like pick engages and fights, etc. Because I'm telling you now, like the survivability you have with Eclipse and R evolve is fantastic. And having the Ingenious Hunter on top of that as well, it gives you a lot of bulk that really just goes unnoticed. Like you can get multiple procs of the Eclipse often in a fight, which means you're proccing the damage very, very often, and you're also proccing the shield very often, so you'll be able to tank a lot more damage. And yeah, just overall super fucking nice. Yeah, so enemy team actually just decides to start the dragon. Nort actually pings this once to go in. Gonna drop the GP ult, which is fucking massive. I try and just jump on this guy. I get knocked up before I can get my auto off, so I don't get the kill. I try to secure the dragon, but I do just miss it. Just barely miss it. I should have Q-smited earlier. I was just waiting a little too long there, otherwise I would have got it. But overall, that was really, really nice. We just get a 2 for 0. Enemy team gets first dragon, but that's all good. Not too huge of a deal. It's only the first dragon. And with that, I just go back, I take my crab, and then I go and get the Gromp, and this is gonna hit 6 for me, probably. Pretty sure it does. But yeah, the Rengar matchup is it's not very fun. And there were some moments in this game where I'm just like, fuck Rengar, man. Fuck Rengar. With his, it's just his E reveal. That's the main issue. Sucks a lot. But we do recall here and pick up the Caulfield's Warhammer. Slowly stacking the red smite. Yeah, honestly, like, the red smite is actually really interesting. Because I never really placed much value in it. Because previously I was running like Q evolve style builds with Leap, and so I never really valued the Q that much. Couldn't see it being that useful. But I've been looking at Agurin lately, the rank 1 Kha'Zix on EU West, and he's been running Red Smite with his Bruiser build, and it actually turns out to be very, very good with W evolve, because you can throw out your W evolve and the Red Smite will it will proc on every Void Spike. So you can actually just AoE Red Smite the entire team. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I could be wrong there, but I recall specifically using Red Smite and W evolve and getting multiple procs on different champions, but again, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how it works there. But yeah, just in general, like the poke you get with it is very, very good, even if that's not the case. So, bit of a scrap going on here. The Rengar is here by himself. I'm going to pick a 1v1 here. It's a Rengar versus a Kha'Zix here. And the only reason I mean, well, notice how he didn't really deal much damage to me. I actually don't take that much damage, and I'm able to 1v1 the Rengar. In the meantime, my team is fighting mid, and my top lane is fighting top. So literally fights going on 27. I try to help the Camille. The Aatrox is going to turn on me, and I'm going to have to flash out. My E comes up just in time, and he misses his flash Q. So I'm going to be able to survive that. Camille going to continue the chase on the Aatrox, and fucking over. And fights going on 24/7. It was hard to like tell. I'm trying to talk about the build, but like there's a decent amount of fighting going on in this game. It's very, it was pretty fun. But yeah, Red Smite, all that good shit. So we take out the Herald here. I have enough for Eclipse now, which is juicy. I recall and get that right now. So finally, we have got the first piece of the puzzle. Actually, the second piece. First piece is the R evolve, and the now we've got the Eclipse. Slowly getting the Ingenious Hunter stacks up as well. So the base cooldown for Eclipse is 6 seconds, but you, obviously, like I said, you can reduce that to 4 seconds with max Ingenious stacks and the Cosmic Insight. So very fucking juicy. I'm just gonna go into my camps here. I could potentially walk down here with the Nautilus, but I just felt like I wasn't really needed there. Although it is a good habit, yeah, as you can see the Rengar comes along here. It is a good habit to actually come 2 lanes first and look for fights first and then go for your camps, but yeah. I drop a pink here. This is extremely greedy. I know exactly what I'm doing here. This is pure greed. I just try and R-evolve in onto the Ezreal. I managed to get him. I'm trying to get my next Eclipse proc off, but regardless, I'm going to die there because that there is pure greed. I would not, I don't know, man. In my opinion, that's worth. I get my boots, right? And the Lucid boots are going to be really nice to help with my spell rotations with this build. But unfortunately, the Rengar gets a double kill, and you don't really want Rengar getting double kills in the game. It's just not good for anyone, and that does kind of backfire later on. The Rengar does become a pretty decent threat, but you know, whatever. We still call worth on that. So we're gonna run back. Again, still 16 stacks. You do get your red smite kind of slowly, unless you're just hard power farming, and generally Kha'Zix isn't the greatest at that. He can only really do so much farming before it just becomes like more tedious. Because this champ doesn't really clear the fastest. But you know, whatever. And now, yeah, the great thing about this build is that it just does everything, right? It does everything. Like, you're able to assassinate because you've still got lethality. You've got the bulk with the Eclipse shield. You got a little more tankiness with the Eclipse shield, and you have a lot of mobility and utility with the evolutions, depending on what you pick, of course. But yeah, so Rengar is going to be bot lane here. Ronaldo is going to run away. I'm going to R-evolve in. Rengar is actually isolated, so I can just blow him up there, and I'm going to use my R-evolve rotation, run back in with the Eclipse, which is back up again. And we're going to pick up a double kill just like that with the isolation damage. Very juicy. It's going to try hook me, but that's not going to be enough. And we're going to start hitting down the dragon. So you can see I literally have no problem with damage. And I think the reason why is because you're getting damage from a bunch of sources, and it's not just like, oh, your Q and your auto, right? So with like a Duskblade setup, you're pretty much just front-loading all your damage into raw, like, flat AD scalings and, you know, bonus AD scalings. But with this setup, it's more like percentage-based with the Eclipse and the first strike and the red smite. So you deal a lot of damage regardless of how much AD you have or what items the enemy are building. You know, even if they're building armor, you're still going to deal a very considerable amount of damage. And that is what, like I said, that's what makes this build so fucking nice. And you'll notice that, you know, if you're playing against these tanky enemies, see now everyone is basically building armor in this game because we're full AD. It doesn't matter because we have so much armor pen. It's beautiful, man. It's like the counter to the durability update. It's fucking gorgeous. And I've fallen in love with this build. I've been playing it so much recently, and it just feels good every single time. And yeah, I highly recommend you try this out. So we're gonna recall, pick up the Serrated Dirk. Keep in mind, you can actually go into the Bruiser. Look at me trying to figure out the fucking next decade. You can go into Bruiser builds, like a Cleaver, for example. But I do prefer my lethality. I just feel like it's more flexible. You have that damage for assassinating, and you are still going to be pretty bulky with the Eclipse anyway. So I don't really place too much value in a Bruiser build for this setup. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can do anything here. I'm going to try and AEW flash. I just narrowly miss it because he flashes out, which is unfortunate. So it is what it is. He's going to ulti and flash away though, so sums down, I guess. And yeah, I'm just overall putting pressure on top here. I go hit the tower here because we can see on the minimap that the Rengar's bot. We want to try and take down this tower because there's literally no one here to defend it. And yeah, overall you can see I'm being very aggressive considering I have the Eclipse, a bunch of CDR, and the Serrated Dirk with my R-Evolve up. You always want to try and be aggressive when you have the R-Evolve up, because it really is so damn powerful for like walking into lanes and going for ganks. Unfortunately, we get really greedy here. We try and go on the Aatrox. Oh man, I could have maybe potentially walked up and hit him one more time, but he's going to survive on 1 HP. Camille's going to try to go back in, and yeah, we're not going to be able to get him. And then the Veigar comes to make matters worse. I'm going to try to proc my Eclipse. I actually dodged the Vega R, it cancels because I walk into the bush, but he's gonna flash on me and I'm gonna get executed. So yeah, that overall is just a very bad play. I'm like to the Camille. Hitting tower is cool there, you know, we should just hit the tower and back off there. Or like she can ping it and I go in earlier. I think if I knew that she wanted to go in there, I could have reacted faster and maybe we can get that kill. Just barely, but yeah. I don't know, there's two ways of looking at that, but overall, I think the priority should go to the objective, and we should be just, you know, hitting the objective. It's just a good habit, guys, you know. Don't, like, tower dive when you can very easily get a tower like that. Just a good habit to build. But we're going to go back onto the map and reset, look for the Rift Herald now. Alright, so for the second item, you can have a choice of a Yumu's or a Edge of Night. Here I'm going Edge of Night because there's a decent amount of like threat on the enemy team, so I'm just getting the Edge of Night to be safe, and that's gonna give me so much survivability. I wanted to look for a fight here. We're gonna get the Northern hook. He's gonna flash it. I'm gonna jump on the Blitzcrank, who's still isolated. Very good Nautilus ulti. CC's the Rengar, so he can't really contribute to anything here. And then we're gonna pick up the Blitzcrank, and just an absolute fiesta. Camille's gonna be somewhat caught out in a bad position, but I don't really have anything up to help her with that. She's gonna go down. Enemy team's gonna chase a little bit. Looks like they want to try and go for the Herald. Aatrox's gonna walk up, but see the GP onto the side. We're gonna jump in with the GP, pick up the Aatrox just like that, fucking explode him. But unfortunately, I'm gonna go down. But Gangplank is cooking. He's absolutely smurfing. And then the Ashe is gonna slowly whittle down the Veigar. Almost dies actually, but my team is nuts. Yeah, my team's nuts. So I am kind of dying for my team a little bit there. Not really ideal for me, but I think it's totally fine because I mean, that was 100% worth it. Like, we get so much out of that. I also get my Edge of Night, so that's going to be very, very juicy. We're also going to be getting the Red Smite very soon. We only have 6 stacks left. Keep in mind, like, I probably would have had it by now if I had just committed to farming and stuff, but I've been I've been playing fairly aggressive now that I pretty much have my R-Evolve and my Eclipse. You know, my R-Evolve is up pretty often because we're sitting on about 30% CDR with the Eclipse and the Lucidity boots, and that is so fucking good. I can't tell you how good that feels. Like, previously, running the Eclipse felt really clunky because lack of ability haste, but I swear I have just fallen in love with the Eclipse. Never thought I would, but it's just so much fun to play with the R-Evolve style, which is my personal favorite. Again, you can still run the Q Evo, but I personally prefer the RW playstyle. It's just a lot more flexible with the Eclipse, in my opinion. But yeah. So my team's gonna take down the mid tower while I'm just taking down the dragon. I'm gonna walk up here in hopes of finding the Rengar because I know he just took the Herald. Maybe he's in this jungle, backing off, trying to group with his team, or like going into his jungle to take camps. Sure enough, I found him. I hit a W on him, 90% slow by the way. And he's actually terrified of me. He does no damage. Like, like this guy does no damage. The Edge of Night, Spell Shield, and the Eclipse is gonna keep me completely safe, and I'm gonna be able to take out the Rengar so easily. It's so hilarious. He also has plated steel caps, but that literally doesn't matter because of our armor pen. And in the meantime, my team is just gonna be absolutely running, what do you call it? Mopping the floor with the enemy team on the bot lane. So that's really good. My team was very, very good this game. Not some crazy game, it's just a nice game of Kha'Zix trying out this build. And I just wanted to show it to you guys because I really, really think you should try this goddamn build out. But yeah, for now, I'm actually going to be playing solo for a little bit. I'm just taking this wave top lane. And keep in mind, there's really nothing on the map for Rengar to do. So there's a chance he can actually jump me here. Oh my god, he just threw an E there. I didn't realize. Oh, I'm trolling. No. So he throws the E over the wall, but I didn't see. He gets the jump on me here. I try and see if I can get my Eclipse proc off. I do, but no Eclipse is gonna save me there. Wow, I actually didn't realize he chucked his E over the wall and killed one of my Krugs. I really didn't even notice that because it just blended in with the whole, well, like the gray color with the Krugs. Wow, that's unfortunate. So yeah, I'm gonna go down. Well played by Rengar, I guess. It's a good play for him to do that. But yeah, probably something I could have avoided for sure. So we're back. The Rengar actually gets a lot of value by killing the tower with the Herald there, but my team is actually just really fucking strong, so they're kind of just rolling over the entire enemy team. I'm going to try clear out the Herald here. Our third item will be the Last Whisper component. We can either go Ceruldas or LDR. The Ceruldas is definitely really nice against... Well, it's just really nice generally because you get that extra ability haste and you'll be able to, you know, rotate your spells a lot more often. Fights are still going on here. I'm kind of just forced to like push top lane here, so a bit of a dead period. So yeah, like Ceruldas is always good as third item, but traditionally I like to go LDR because I mean the meta is just so healthy right now. So the LDR really helps to fight against the bruisers and the tanks and anyone tanky really, because all that percentage damage and the physical damage bonus with the LDR against the healthier enemies, you're just gonna shred through them. It's like they don't have any defense at all. Really fucking juicy. Yeah, just so nice. So nice to have. And overall, love this build. Did I touch on the W evolve? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we do have the W evolve now with the red smite. Blitzcrank gets rid of my shield. A bit disrespectful, mate. This looks really sketch. Enemy team's gonna engage on me here. The Rengar is like 1 HP. Unfortunately, he just lives. He just barely lives. I almost get hooked there. I have to flash out. Yeah, hit a decent W. But my team's here, ready to re-engage. Blitzcrank isolated, dealing some solid damage against him. And the GP is just fucking smurfing. He goes fucking wild. And he just, I don't know what that was, but he just cleaned the entire fight up. Very juicy. Yeah. So, I don't know if you can tell, but the build just feels fucking nice. Like, every single time, regardless of what fight it is, I'm dealing constant damage because of this setup. And, I don't know, I just hope you can notice that. The damage is so consistent. It's so consistent, and that's just what makes this build feel so great. Gonna recall after taking the Baron there, which we're able to, because the entire team's dead. And then we pick up the LDR. For the last two items, basically, you're just gonna want to pick up another lethality item. And for the last item, you can go anything defensive, or Kenpuck Chainsword is good. Ravenous Hydra is good if you want to max your damage. Anything goes, honestly, for the last option. But yeah, I'm gonna go down and pick up the dragon here. Just kidding, it gets fucking stolen. Terrible play by me. Don't know how I missed that. Gonna try jump in here. That was a terrible jump. Shouldn't have even jumped there. And now we're just caught in this really awkward scenario. I'm gonna use my W, get some decent slow off. Enemy team can't really move up. Camille is here though, gonna re-engage, gets hooked. Look at this, gonna fucking jump over the wall, get a massive W. So that's gonna obliterate the entire team. Rengar ulti comes along. I get one shot, 1,100 damage crit. He's gonna absolutely obliterate me. And he's gonna also pick up the Ashe, and then he's gonna get away. So yeah, like I said, he's a pretty decently strong threat right now. He's got the Infinity Edge. But yeah, overall, I think it was just a completely messy fight, but it was a lot of fun to play. Yeah, this game's just an absolute clown fiesta, man. Alright, we are back. Pick up the last serrated Dirk for the build. Actually, it doesn't have to be last. You can also go for lethality if you wanted to. Axiom Arc is actually a pretty solid option. Actually, yeah, okay, so normally I go Yumu's after the Edge of Night / yeah, normally I would have Yumu's. It's Yumu's Edge of Night or Edge of Night Yumu's, and then I typically flex the last item slot. But for this game, I was like, yeah, we're fighting like a pretty decent amount. I may as well just run the Axiom Arc so that I can get my ulti off much faster. Axiom Arc is definitely an option, but just generally I don't really see it as necessary. I prefer the other items. But yeah, I think this fight is, I think this next fight is actually pretty juicy. We see a pretty good usage of the red smite with the W evolve, and overall, like, the poke damage and the eclipse value is going to be there for the next fight, I believe. No, sorry, spoiler alert. But yeah, it's a somewhat slow point of the game though, because enemy team still has kill pressure over us. We need to be very careful. It is a Rengar, so one mistake and we can get obliterated by the Rengar. He does have a death stance now. He got very fed. Got a lot of gold off those kills. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to kill him in some cases, but you'll find that this build works totally fine into death stance, and that's another great thing about it. So we see the Rengar, he's actually caught out. I'm going to look for a W on him. He's going to flash out there. I actually nicked the Aatrox to get a kill there. I just straight up flash on the Rengar because he re-engages. Going to pick up a double kill. And then we're just going to clean up here, really. The Vega's going to go down. Sorry, the next fight. The next fight, sorry. That was basically just the cleanup there. Nothing really too special. But we are progressing towards the level 16, and when we do that, we'll get the evolved leap. Don't really see a reason to go Q here. You can go Q if you really want the DPS, but come on, man. You're not a true Kha'Zix player if you don't use evolved leap, let's be honest. And with 3 dead, we're gonna be taking down the middle inhib, and then we are going to back off, I believe. Yes, don't really want to overextend here. Everyone's respawning. We can easily get the top tower here, but instead I decide to recall. No, I don't recall here. I actually stop. Yep. This is the fight I was talking about. So GP gets caught out. Ezreal going to go down to Camille, and looks like we're actually caught off in a very awkward scenario for me. I can't just mindlessly jump in here. Enemy team wants to fight this, and I'm going to land a good W here. Lots of damage going through there. And then I'm going to R-Evolve back in. I'm going to Q Smite, which is going to proc the Eclipse on the Aatrox. R-Evolve, re-engage with my W, EQ, auto attack, jump on the Rengar. Look at my fucking bulk. I literally take no damage. And then we're going to apply one last W. Smite the Veigar for the last kill. And then, bam. Super juicy. Super juicy, man. You can see how useful I was in that fight. Applying the slows with the percent max health damage on the red smite. And the first strike damage as well. Alongside that W poke, just very juicy. We get the slow, and we engage when the time is right with the R evolve and the Eclipse, and we just don't really die because of that Eclipse shielding that is just constantly negating damage for us. It's just so juicy, man. And I really hope that fight showcased what it's like to use this build, because it's very juicy. Anyway, I think that is going to be the majority of the game. I'm just going to skip past this part because it's a little boring. Okay, so a fight. This is the last fight. It's just a absolute stomp. And that's why I just cut to this part, because like it was just literally nothing. Towards the end of the game, we'll just run over the enemy team, and that's going to be it. We scale out of control. So yeah, overall I just wanted to show you this game, just to showcase the build. I have a lot more really juicy games I want to show you. They usually involve this build, which is I mean, that just goes to show how awesome this build is. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Try this out, it's so nice, I swear. Oh, we're gonna have a bit of a clown fiesta here to end off the game. But like I said, yeah, try the build out, you won't be disappointed, and I will see you guys next time. Catch you later.